What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. Hope you guys doing well. It's been a while since I've done a show, but I wanted to come on. We had Big Ten Media Days, plural. So we were in Minneapolis Tuesday and Wednesday last week, covering the Big Ten Media Days. And so it's always fun. I thought Matt Painter was excellent. He came on and said that he wanted to come up here and said, "Oh, we sucked in the offseason. We had bad practices, but boy, we're looking forward to the season." He made light of it, which Matt Painter does a good job of, head coach at Purdue. So, like I said, I wanted to come on here and share some thoughts and share some of the things with you in case you had not seen the preseason All Big Ten team. I don't know why they do 10 players because you could do first team or second team, but they put 10 players on one team. Go figure. I don't know. I might be an old head hating. I doubt it, but here we go. So preseason All Big Ten teams: Terrence Shannon Jr. of Illinois, Trace Jackson Davis of Indiana, Chris Murray of Iowa, Hunter Dickinson from Michigan, Illinois' favorite player outside of the Illini. Malik Hall from Michigan State. I like that selection. He's kind of under the radar, but has shown flashes that he could definitely be one of the best players in the Big Ten. Jameson Battle really came on down the stretch last season for the Gophers, put up some big time numbers. I did a game at Maryland. I believe he dropped 39 and made it look easy. And this was when the Gophers were shorthanded. So the Terrapins knew what the Gophers were trying to do, and Jameson Battle still gave it to him. Jalen Pickett, Penn State, kind of an old man game, that old man YMCA game, not going to jump real high, not going to be real fast, but strong, crafty, clever, knows how to get his shot off, knows how to play. Zach Edey of Purdue could be an elite big, along with Hunter Dickinson, Trace Jackson Davis, and Amon Baycott of North Carolina, and also Oscar Shibwe. Hopefully he gets back healthy from a minor knee surgery, and also Drew Timme. So these guys, I believe Edey could be a premier big, not only in Big Ten basketball, but around college basketball. Cliff Omorie of Rutgers is kind of a sleeper as well. Big, strong, athletic guy, dunks everything around the rim. He's I think, gonna have to expand his offensive game in order for Rutgers to really reach their potential this season. And then peep this out, guys. The media is going to stop messing with the Wisconsin Badgers. Last year, they were preseason 10th, and they tied Illinois for the regular season title. Preseason 9th this year, and they got two players, not one, but two players on the All Big Ten preseason team. Chucky Hepburn, outstanding sophomore point guard for Wisconsin, and Tyler Wall, the really talented forward, one of my favorite players in the Big Ten Conference. And I don't know how a team could get two players on the first team Big Ten team and be ranked 9th preseason. I believe that's what we're seeing, 9th. They were preseason 10th last year. I think the Big Ten may like Wisconsin and do them a favor for giving them bulletin board material to start the season. The preseason Big Ten Player of the Year is Trace Jackson Davis, according to the media that the Big Ten conducted. Now, what's the publication? There's another publication that I really like that has some of the top writers in college basketball. They did their own poll. They picked Hunter Dickinson, the preseason Player of the Year. I don't think you could go wrong with either choice. I think it's kudos to Trace for having worked on his game, expand his game, and getting the acknowledgement. And also for Hunter Dickinson for staying around. I know the NBA game is not as favorable for bigs as it used to be, but look at what Luka Garza is doing right now. Luka Garza, I saw a quote from a Minnesota Timberwolves front office person, and they're extremely pleased with Garza and think that he's kind of the way that the game has gone for bigs, where you got to be able to step out and shoot the three. You got to be able to run the floor and also still maintain some touch around the rim. So, we'll see what Hunter and Trace can do this season, but it's going to be outstanding with both of these teams. Let me go see who's joined us so far. Paula McDaniel. I haven't seen your name before. I don't know why you didn't mention anything, but welcome. I haven't seen you. So if this is your first time to Bardo's Breakdown, only 2 rules. Don't be rude. And when you come to the hole, come strong or don't come at all. Stay out on the perimeter. Because when you come to the hole, you got to come strong. When you have a strong take, stand on it with conviction, because Bardo's Breakdown tribe, they'll come at you a little bit. Nothing malicious, but they'll try to poke holes in your argument. So welcome. Carol Popaquette. Hey, Carol, you got more important things right there. Take care of your son, but thanks for always tuning in. Really appreciate your support as always. Let's see here. Where are we at? Now, here's where I'm going to rail a little bit. Jim Phillips last week suggested that the NCAA tournament needs to expand. And I'm going to get at Jim a little bit because he's a friend of mine. He's an Illini. He was a grad assistant at Illinois when I was coming through undergrad. So I've known Jim for over 30 years. He is my friend. I do not agree with him on this. Now, I have a feeling why he's saying this. With the Big Ten and the SEC really being aggressive about expansion, the ACC are right in the headlights of expansion for the Big Ten and the SEC. So to me, I think that Jim Phillips is trying to rally his base and get them to maybe believe or think that he's working hard on their behalf to expand the NCAA tournament. From what I've seen, the word is that they want to expand the tournament to allow 25% of the eligible 354 teams, I believe, that are in Division I men's basketball to be eligible for the tournament. That would put the tournament number at 96. Guys, I can't read the freaking bracket as it is with 68 teams. How the hell am I going to read a bracket with 96 teams? How are we going to do that? How are we going to fit 96 teams into the 3 best weekends of the year? How are we going to do that? We're going to expand the time. So we're going to bleed into Major League Baseball and get close to the NBA playoffs? Come on now. It's ridiculous. And, hey, look, I'm not knocking the teams that are at the bottom of the Big Ten. I'm not knocking the teams that are at the bottom of the ACC, SEC, and Pac-12, but that's who's going to benefit from this. It's not going to be that you're going to get more parity. You're only going to get more Power 5 conference teams into the tournament with this initiative. It is not designed for St. Peter's or George Mason or UMBC. This is what makes the tournament so special. Why have 25% of the teams eligible? Keep it like it is. It makes it a premium now when you make the NCAA tournament. If you didn't make the NCAA tournament and your job is on the line, guess what, guys? I haven't seen a college coach in college basketball have a check bounce yet. I've been involved with college basketball all my life, from when my dad was working at SIU to when my brother played in Indiana, my sister played junior college basketball, and then me playing. I've been around this game for half a century. I have not seen a college basketball coach have one check bounce. So, like police officers that bitch and moan about what they have to do, college coaches, this is what you signed up for. Nobody's twisting your arm. And so for Jim Phillips to come out and say that the tournament needs to be expanded, that really makes me ill. That makes my stomach nauseous, because greed is going to mess around and ruin the best sporting event this country has seen and that we have. Yes, people love the Super Bowl because it's the most popular sport, but the best sporting event is March Madness. They've even got alliteration on the name, March Madness. But if you go to 96 freaking teams, can you keep the tournament in March? Hell no. It already bleeds to the first week of April. We're going to have May Madness with 96 teams? Come on, guys. Please don't let greed that is directing everything else in this society, I guess. Don't let greed ruin what is a wonderful event because you're nervous about your teams being rated. This is the business that you signed up for. ADs, coaches, work harder to get your teams in the tournament. Work harder on NIL to make it more, to make your program more attractive to better players. But don't screw with the tournament because you're fearful of your conference or whatever. That's Jim. Come on, Jim. You're better than that. Jim Phillips, you're better than that. Salute, Bardo. It's been a minute. Go Blue. What's up, Dale? Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me go on here. More basketball, Bardo. They ask you to cover these games. Would you decline? That's a good question. That's a good question. Kenny, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Good question. I covered the first four last year, and this past season, it was a blast. Rutgers, Notre Dame. Damn, a lot's happened since then. Rutgers, Notre Dame, Wright State, and there was another. Bryant. So I love covering the first four. We had some good games. It had tournament field. Dayton does a great job. Good question. All right. Let's see. March Madness is the best time of year. If it isn't broke, don't change it. Thank you, Carol. That's what I'm saying. Greed has destroyed the Big Ten, says Thomas Dagley. Okay. Now, Thomas, is it the Big Ten or is it college athletics? Because if the name of the game in college athletics is number one is to compete. So if the SEC, which was a shrewd move, meaning I thought it was a good move for the future and the health of the SEC, because these conferences are supported through television contracts. So did greed destroy the Big Ten? Because I'm not sure the Big Ten made the first. Well, I guess if you go back to Maryland, Rutgers, Penn State, you may have a point, Thomas. But I just think that it's a competition for television markets. It's a competition for television money. And so if Thomas, if you think the Big Ten was destroyed by going to get USC and UCLA, it's the number 2 television market in the country. And I believe they get 20 to 30 million more dollars per program with those 2 schools addition to the Big Ten. So did greed destroy the Big Ten, or are they just competing in a greedy system? Fair question. V, what's up, Veronica? Good to see you. Yes, too many teams. And Veronica would know because Veronica's team is the preseason number 1 team in the country. She is a proud North Carolina Tar Heels fan. And when I mean proud, ladies and gentlemen, I mean proud. Veronica has not missed the Final Four, I believe, in the last 15 years. Veronica, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But a dear friend of mine and a very knowledgeable basketball fan. Her nephew, Chris Clemens, is a professional player. Veronica knows her stuff. Thanks, V. Good seeing you, babe. Love you. What's up, Kendall? Kenny? Kendall. Who made you say Kendall, man? You throwing me off with that. About ready to get my cons out of the closet. I heard that. Get the Converse out, baby. Get them out. Did you say Garza can run the floor? That's awfully generous. What do you think of the Illini preseason ranking 23? I was thinking they would be just outside top 10. I agree with you on the tournament. Leave it alone. Thank you. James, I think this may be your first time on Bardo's Breakdown. Thanks so much for chiming in. I really appreciate it. Did you not watch Luka Garza when he played at Iowa? Are you questioning whether Luka Garza can run the floor? Because he was routinely beating guys who were, quote unquote, more athletic and faster than him. And he's scoring at the NBA level. He was on the All G League team last year. Now he's got a multi-year deal, I believe, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And they love him. So yes, I'm saying Luka Garza running the floor because he runs harder than most of the people he's going up against. I was surprised at the Illini, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. I was surprised the Illini were even in preseason top 25. When you have 10, not 5, not 7, you've got 10 new players on your roster that you're really depending on. You've got 2 players returning that got minutes. They didn't even start. RJ Melendez and Luke Goody did not start. They played minutes, and they've got tremendous upside, but you only got 2 guys returning. Right? So you lose Kofi, you lose Corbello, you lose Jacob Granderson. You lose a ton of players. Now, you brought in some great players. Matthew Meyer, Terrence Shannon Jr., that freshman class at Illinois is outstanding. But it's several unknowns. So the fact that they were preseason 23, I was surprised, James. I didn't think they would be in the top 25. So I don't know. I guess you must be in the line because if you think that they would be just outside the top 10, that's a lot of uncertainty to put a team just outside the top 10. Just my opinion. But thanks again for joining, James. And please share this with people that you think would enjoy this type of conversation around Big Ten and college basketball. It really helps the show, and I really appreciate it. And I love growing this base because the people that come on Bardo's Breakdown on a regular basis are very knowledgeable, and they help me. I'm the one that's got the name on it, and I work on television and all that stuff, and I used to play, but don't take for granted what these people in this community, what they have to say, because they're very knowledgeable, and I really appreciate them taking the time. So, James, thank you and welcome. Big Ten did not need these extra teams, especially. Shoot. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I got a call. I got to learn how to put my phone on mute. But Thomas, again, if the Big Ten is to compete with what looks like is going to be the other super conference, the Southeastern Conference, if you're going to compete with them, wasn't that a shrewd move? I mean, if I don't know what you do, Thomas. I don't know what you do for a living, but if someone says, hey, if you partner with Larry Smith over here, Thomas, I'll increase your pay by 40%. And if you and Larry Smith are cool, you've had some conversations in the past, you're pretty well aligned in what you do, you're not going to make that partnership and make 30 to 40% more money? I'd have to consider it. Like if I could make 30 to 40% more money and I could partner with somebody on Bardo's Breakdown and change the name, I'd have to consider it because the names can change, but money talks. And I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at competition. The Big Ten is just competing. And I like the move. I do. For selfish reasons, Thomas, because you know why? Big Ten basketball is cold, y'all. We're in the upper Midwest. I had the benefit of calling the West Coast Conference for ESPN years ago. I'm going to tell you something. It did my blood and my mind and my soul good to go to Pepperdine in February. And it was 79 degrees. And, you know, the water polo team was practicing outside. Come on. You know what I mean? For selfish reasons. Welcome, USC, UCLA. We're glad to have you. I'll be so glad to see you in January, February, and March. Trust me. And who's going to turn down a Big Ten tournament in Los Angeles in March? Come on now. Shoot. I'm all for it. Preach, leave the big dance alone. Playing games are bad enough already. What's up, Edward? Good to see you. Thanks for the support on LinkedIn, man. I really appreciate it. I love the playing games. They were exciting. There were no blowouts, right? Notre Dame and Rutgers went to overtime, I believe. That was a hell of a game. And then Wright State and Bryant that was kind of a blowout. I'm missing some games, y'all. My mind, I should have thought about that before I came on. Edward, thank you very much. Greedy system. Okay, Thomas, I'll go with you there. No complaints and no differences there. I'm with you. Did you hear that Illini men's basketball just signed an NIL deal with Next Name, a platform allowing fans to support them by purchasing their digital collectibles? And I'm a part of that. I'm a part of Next Name. So yeah, that will be a good look. And as creative as programs can be around NIL, they need to do it quickly, because at some point there'll be, I believe there'll be legislation around NIL. But while it's the wild, wild west, programs need to be as creative and aggressive as possible in setting up these LLCs that allow people to donate money. They get a tax break with that. Think about that. Now it's legal to fund these NIL collectives, and you get a tax break. You know what? As long as the athletes benefit from it, I love it. What's up, Glenn Blackwell, my brother from another mother, my Illini brother? What's good, Glenn? Good to see you. Next season, Glenn Blackwell, one of his talented sons, because he's got 3, one of his talented sons will be playing with the Wisconsin Badgers. I cannot wait to see his young man play, because, boy, I'm going to get on the air and be like, man, I got to get some more hair color, y'all, because I'm old. That young man right there, I played with his daddy, so I'm getting up there. What's up, Glenn? Good to see you, brother. Love you, man. Thanks for jumping on and the sport. Possibly regular season chance by pass conference tournament, get automatic bid. Rest of the teams play in conference tournament. Each conference is guaranteed 2 bids. Then those 2 teams play in the championships to move on. Now, that's interesting, Kenny. And here's the thing, though. I don't think you're going to see the conference tournament shift at all. It's too much money, especially the Big Ten. They get broke off by CBS. CBS pays a pretty dollar for the Big Ten, and they want that lead in to their Selection Sunday show. I don't see that changing. That's going to be very difficult to change the conference tournament setup. And it's been talked. And Kenny, I would love to see regular season champs get a automatic bid, because then that would put more emphasis on the regular season. So I like that idea, but I would still have them play in the conference tournament, because it would be kind of weird for like last season. So Wisconsin and Illinois have a share of the Big Ten title. Wisconsin and Illinois not in the Big Ten conference tournament. That'd be a little weird. So I don't know if I particularly agree with that particular point, but I do like the automatic bid for the conference champion, the regular season conference champion. I do like that, Kenny. Well said. Go Heels and that's proud alum. That's right. I see you, V. All right, James. Oh, James is Illini around my time. All right, James. ILL, my man. Let's add Florida then. Now, Thomas, here's the thing. Here's what I want you to think about. When adding programs, at least for the Big Ten anyway, they look at television markets. They're not looking at names. So that's why, to me, I think Georgia Tech and Miami are the next 2 that they may go after. Now, there was something that I wanted to share with you all that Kevin Warren said during Big Ten Media Days that kind of caught everybody's attention. He said that his goal is to make the Big Ten Conference the best basketball conference in the history of college basketball. Now, what that made me think, if I'm thinking the best basketball conference in the history of college basketball, that means you would probably have to beat out the old Big East, or when the ACC was rugged, or when the Big Ten was like had everybody, right? So to me, that said Kansas, North Carolina, and Duke. But Kansas City television market, okay, that's got some size to it. North Carolina with Raleigh, Durham, okay. But if you got North Carolina and Duke together, oh, baby, now that would be a little different. So you may see Miami. I can't see University of Florida, but I could see. I definitely could see Miami and Georgia Tech because I believe that those are the last remaining big television markets that aren't locked up between the SEC or the Big Ten. Mike Waldboozer, good to see you, my man. Okay with the preseason BB rankings. Give Illini some motivation. Like the way Underwood has remade his roster. You know what, Mike? I think in terms of really a roster turnover, this is probably the best one in the country. I've skimmed and looked at different major programs that had high turnover. When I say high turnover, maybe 5, maybe 6. Illinois got 10 new, not transfers. You got to remember they got a with Jaden Epps, Ty Rogers, the kid from LeBron James's, got his name, left-handed thin kid, kind of bouncy. Sky Clark. So they've got a large freshman class, and they've got really high impact transfers. So I like the way that Brad has done that as well. Carol, no, I don't know. I don't think Glenn's son is a lefty. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I'm not positive. Glenn, is he a lefty like you? Keep the tournament, just the number seed won't play. Okay. You mean the number 1 seed won't play, Kenny? Interesting. What's up, Glover Love? Good to see you, my man. Can we look forward to seeing the Illini in the Big Ten Championship? Glover, they have enough talent. And this is where Brad Underwood's junior college coaching experience really comes into play, because at that level, you have this type of turnover almost every year. And so you've got to do a great job of blending talent, getting guys to accept their roles very early, because to me, that's the key. When you've got a bunch of talented players and you've only got so many minutes to share, the sooner that you can get each player to buy into their role, whether they agree 100% with it or not, when you can get them to buy in totally, that's when you have a championship team, because Illinois definitely has championship talent. But when you have guys that have differing, this guy wants to go to the league, this guy, wants to be Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, like Matthew Meyer has said. He's said that in the media. He wants to be Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. So you've got guys with differing goals that they want to achieve. But the key to me is that they accept their roles early enough. And I think that can get done. No, my oldest son, but the one that's going to Wisconsin is right-handed. Okay, thank you, Black. Appreciate you. So, yeah, let me get back and run through the rest of this. So, Jim Phillips, you're my man. I love you. That's a dumb idea. You're threatening the goose that pays everybody. It's the golden goose. It's laying all the eggs. You think that the people that lock in, that come to college basketball, that are casual fans, you think they want to see 96 freaking teams? How are you going to fit 96 teams on a bracket? How's that going to look? Like people over 50 going to need a magnifying glass to see the thing? How are we going to do that? We're going to print all the brackets out on legal paper or posters. We're going to have bracket posters so that people like me over 50 can see the damn thing. Come on, man. No. All right, moving on. Juwan Howard and Greg Gard had their dust up last year, and they came together like gentlemen, hugged it out, squashed the beef. Now we can move on. Now, I've heard certain podcasts, they don't like that because they want friction. They want tension. I like this. This is classy. We don't need controversy. The Big Ten Conference tries to have unwritten rules of decorum. Okay? I heard Greg Gard say that he would prefer to return to suits and ties on the sideline, because it would make college basketball stand out from all the other sports. I happen to agree. Now, I know the coaches love the sweats or the Lululemon outfits and stuff because it's more comfortable. But I kind of like what Greg Gard is saying, because image is very important when you're trying to differentiate yourself from the rest of the competition. So the Big Ten coaches went back to the suits and ties. I would actually be happy to see that. I would. Because it's not like they don't get paid enough money to go get tailored suits. It's not like they can't afford the dry cleaning bill if they sweat like Bruce Pearl and sweat through all their suits, right? But I would like to see that, because when you see these types of things, when coaches have beefs in the past and they can come together and squash it and move on. So now the media has, I don't like to do this anyway. I don't like when the media does this. They need something to write about. They need something to talk about. I get it. But I don't like sitting in studio talking about some stuff that, it looked bad for the conference, in my opinion. It looked bad for Juwan Howard, and it looked bad for Greg Gard. It wasn't good for either program. And the fact that they've squashed it, I love it. I love it. Let me see if you guys have chimed in on that. Let's see. Oh, Marcel Webster says 68 is enough. It should be slacks and open collar shirts. Okay, Marcel. Now that's a decent compromise. That would still look nice. Collar shirt like this, sport coat, slacks. I like that, Marcel. That's a good call. See, ladies and gentlemen, we can come together on Bardo's breakdown. We don't have to be at each other's necks and you know what I mean? We intelligent people can agree. All right, and then I believe you on this. This was kind of funny to me. So at Big Ten Media Day, Jalen Hood-Schifino, watch his name, preseason freshman of the year in the Big Ten. This kid could be a pro. He could be the second coming of Jason Kidd. He's that talented, fast, big point guard, lead guard, get down hill, sets up his teammates well, can shoot the three. Is going to be an outstanding addition to Indiana. He's a big reason why Indiana is preseason favorite in the Big Ten Conference. So Trace Jackson Davis was asked, who would you compare Jalen Hood-Schifino to? He says, I like to compare him to Ayo Dosunmu in terms of his size and speed getting downhill. So the media went and asked Mike Woodson. They're like, what do you think about what Trace said about the comparison between Jalen Hood-Schifino and Ayo Dosunmu? And Mike Woodson said, who is Ayo Dosunmu? And he wasn't playing. You guys got to remember, Mike Woodson was on an NBA bench, and I don't believe he was even head coach. I believe he might have been an assistant with the Knicks. And so if you're not charged with looking at the college talent pipeline, the high school talent pipeline, you're inundated with the NBA. You don't know about college players. Illinois fans lost their minds. Oh, my God. Illini fans, listen. I heard this on a podcast. Illini fans, I'd like to see the fan base not have this victim mentality, where every time something is said about the Illini, the fan base loses its mind. Now, I'm talking about the loud minority. I'm not talking about the large majority, because the Illini fan base is as classy and passionate as any in the country. But for some reason, we have a loud minority that is loud as hell. And they're louder than a lot of other program fan bases' loud minority. The Illini Nation's loud minority, they got bullhorns or something. They have multiple Twitter accounts. Because, boy, when something is said supposedly against the Illini, man, they lose their mind. But I thought it was kind of funny, because it's like, come on, guys. This dude was in the NBA. You know what I mean? Yeah, Glover, I am silly, because we're talking college basketball. We're not reporting murders. We're not talking about the economy. We're talking about something we all love. So I'm going to be silly. I'm going to have fun with it. So, Mike Woodson not knowing Io DeSumo, he knows who he is now. Trust me, because he'll watch the Bulls play, and Io is the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls, ladies and gentlemen. The story doesn't get any better than that. I'm sorry. Wonderful story. Morgan Park, stand up. Illini Nation, stand up. Io DeSumo is the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls. How cool is that? I tell you what, proud of my little brother. Because, anytime you play with the Illini, we're all brothers at that point. So that'll do it. If you guys have any other comments, say them quickly. I'm going to wrap up here. Just want to come off for a little bit and start to get used to this Monday situation. I got to do something at 6 o'clock, but I'll usually come on at 6 Central Time, Monday evenings. Okay. So let me see if I see one more comment. Thank you, Glover. Thank you all. Veronica, thank you for chiming in. Appreciate your support. Check back in next week for another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. Thanks for checking it out. Listen, guys, please share with people who are diehard college basketball fans that have some knowledge about the game. I think they would really appreciate this platform and the fact that Veronica Clemens chimed in. Now I got to be on my North Carolina game. I got to be on my ACC game to represent, because they look like the best team in the country right now, the North Carolina Tar Heels. Now, the funny thing is they may be preseason number 1, but I believe Virginia may be picked preseason favorite in the ACC. Virginia's going to be tough, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that being said, okay, yep, I think that'll do it. So, thanks very much for joining Bardo's Breakdown. Share, like, and comment on this. It really helps the algorithm and helps me grow the show. Until next week, y'all, I'm Stephen Bardo. Peace.